Welcome to Recipes Recommended. I'm excited to share today's recipe for a few reasons. The first reason is that we're making a delicious dish which has gained a good amount of popularity in the last few years, shakshuka. The next is that we get to really talk about how I, and hopefully you, examine new recipes and make sure we apply our cooking knowledge, ensuring the best possible result. And finally, we get to look at a couple of helpful techniques you may not already be familiar with, which are guaranteed to make your life in the kitchen that much more enjoyable. We hope you enjoy it. Before I forget, we need your help deciding the next recipe we cover. Our friend Noah gave us 2 from his grandmother, an almond French toast, and also a lemon pound cake. Let us know in the comments below or on our Instagram. My brother-in-law Kevin let us know several months ago about the shakshuka recipe he wanted us to review. He used to live in Australia with his husband Greg, and while there, he met a lot of friends. One friend, Mika, while celebrating Australia Day, gave him this recipe from memory. Kevin doesn't exactly recall where she originally got it, but it's now traveled across the world for us to enjoy. Whenever I read through a new recipe, I always look to see if the method of preparation, or the MOP as chefy people would say, makes sense. This one calls for some dry spices to be added in the middle, but I love to bloom spices at the beginning, waking them up to really shine. Here we bloom coriander, cumin, and turmeric in a small cast iron pan. You just want to warm them up for a couple of minutes over medium heat until you can smell their essential oils opening up. After that, put them aside until they are needed. I recommend you always do this, especially with spices that may be on the older side. Mincing the ginger starts with a fresh knob of ginger. I like to find a piece the size of a really big thumb. Cut off an end, and if you see any dried or brown parts, keep cutting back until it's uniformly pale yellow. Next, take a spoon and using the edge, round side away from you, and scrape the skin away. This is so much easier than trying to use a vegetable peeler, and it's much more efficient than just slicing away the skin with a knife. Kevin's recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of minced ginger, but I advise you to adjust that to only 1. Use a microplane or simply mince as finely as you can. We then move on to the garlic. Mince as you normally feel comfortable with a knife or a garlic press. Here, I run into some cloves with the green center. It's simply sprouted garlic, which is safe to eat. However, the green germ can have a bitter flavor, so I decided to remove it. I smash the cloves with the flat side of my knife, and with a little coarse salt, mince it up. The last real prep is to mince some shallots. If you've watched our previous videos, you'll notice this trend. Once you start cooking a lot more and exploring a lot more recipes, you'll see shallots come into play a ton. The reason is that they're more delicate, sweeter, and usually more palatable than onions. They're also really good for improving your knife skills. In a 12-inch cast iron pan, heat up 3 tablespoons of olive oil over medium to medium-low heat. Add the garlic, shallots, ginger, and a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, and cook, stirring frequently for about 3 minutes. If you think the temperature is too hot, like I did here, turn down the burner. Stirring constantly is important if you think the temperature is too hot. Garlic can burn and become bitter. Next time, I'll likely cook over medium-low. You're coaxing out the garlic and ginger flavors, letting them co-mingle with the oil, and we're also not in a rush. Now we can add the bloomed spices and some black pepper, and then a couple of cans of drained chickpeas. We raise the heat back up to medium and cook for 3 or so more minutes, until the chickpeas got up to temp. Next, a half cup of water and 2 14.5-ounce cans of diced tomatoes were combined and left to simmer, covered, for 10 minutes. Uncover and cook a little longer until thickened to your desired consistency. Poaching eggs is so much easier than you might think. You can do it in almost any liquid, and here, it's even easier. To prep, decide how many eggs you want. 4 or 5 is a good number, and crack them into ramekins or other small dishes. Make wells in the simmering shakshuka, and pour an egg into each. After a couple of minutes, the eggs will let you know when they're cooked by turning opaque. At this point, you're ready to serve. For a little color, try sprinkling some roughly chopped herbs of your choice. This recipe also calls for crumbled feta, which I am totally into. I really like a little heat and acid in dishes like this, so serving with your favorite vinegar-based hot sauce and/or lemon wedges is a welcome idea. This is a really good dish you can make pretty fast, and it's as good at brunch as it would be for a nice Sunday dinner. As a centerpiece, it's beautiful and encourages sharing. I really enjoyed learning about the cultural history and variations of shakshuka and its similar counterparts like huevos rancheros. If you're even a little on the fence and maybe a little intimidated to make this, I think you should give it a shot. I believe in you, and your friends and your family will love to share this with you, I promise. I want to thank Kevin again for sharing this recipe with us. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button, commenting, and subscribing. Also, you can find the full recipe on our website, recipesrecommended.com. If you have a recipe you think we should make, send us a message and we'll check it out. We may also make a video. Thank you for joining us, and please don't forget, great minds eat alike.